Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Ad America. Thank you very much, everyone. For those of you new here, Ad America is the U.S. Embassy's American Center. Our mission is to provide space for Indonesians to learn more about the United States. Hello again, everyone. My name is Aldi Rashid, and I will be your e-guide for today's event, Building Tomorrow, U.S.-ASEAN Education Partnership, Shaping the Digital Future. Can you get a big round of applause, everyone? And of course, to begin our event for today, I would like to say hi to our audience on this side from Untirta. And from this side, from Universitas Esa Unggul. Thank you, everyone. And I would like to also say hi to our online audience. And we do have a question of the day for our online audience. And the question is it true or false that the U.S. ASEAN Center is located in Arizona? If you think you know the answer to this question, submit it through our online platforms to get a special shout out at the very end of this event. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let us hear opening remarks from the Negotiations Chief, U.S. Mission to ASEAN. Please welcome Mr. Dominic So.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Selamat sore. Thank you so much for coming. Again, my name is Dominic So. I am a diplomat with the United States Mission to ASEAN here in Jakarta. And on behalf of the United States, I just want to thank you all for coming and welcoming you here to Ad America. As I look around this room, I see the very best of what our cooperation represents: collaboration, innovation, and a shared vision for the future. I also want to take a moment to express my deepest gratitude to the people making today possible. First, a warm welcome back to Jakarta to Ms. Anne Hoang, the director of the U.S. ASEAN Center in the United States. And thank you for your commitment and everything you do to demonstrate the durability of the U.S.-ASEAN relationship. To our panelists for today, Ms. Amalia from the ASEAN Secretariat, Ms. Retno from DAO, Ms. Religiana from BINUS, Dr. Samantha from Thunderbird, thank you all for sharing your expertise with us today. To the Indonesian team of Arizona State University, thank you for all of your hard work in putting this event together. But most importantly, to all of you participants today. I know many of you traveled from a very long distance, and so we really appreciate you coming here and joining our conversation. For nearly 50 years, the United States and ASEAN have forged an enduring relationship. It is a bond built on shared principles as reflected in the U.S.-ASEAN Leaders' Joint Vision Statement that was adopted by President Trump and ASEAN leaders just this past October, as well as the U.S. Indo-Pacific Strategy and ASEAN's outlook on the Indo-Pacific. ASEAN is and will remain the preeminent mechanism through which the United States engages with this vital region. Today's topic could not be more crucial. The digital economy is the engine of daily economic growth across ASEAN and is central to our vision for U.S.-ASEAN cooperation in the future. U.S. companies are at the leading edge of technological innovation in Southeast Asia's rapidly growing digital economy. The United States is especially excited to further our already robust engagement with ASEAN in this space, ensuring that the United States remains ASEAN's partner of choice on digital cooperation. Together, we aim to unlock ASEAN's full economic potential, ensuring economic growth and prosperity for our combined 1 billion people. Looking forward, a critical piece of this shared future is our collaboration on artificial intelligence, AI. The United States is deeply committed to providing private sector-led development of AI systems, applications, and infrastructure to foster global innovation. We remain dedicated to deepening our partnership with ASEAN in this critical endeavor. By pairing this cutting-edge innovation with our robust educational partnerships, we're not just building a resilient digital landscape, we're building bridges of understanding, creating pathways of opportunity, and investing in our shared prosperity. So in conclusion, let me leave you with one final thought. Governments alone cannot build the digital economy we envision. Policies create the framework, but people drive the progress. We need each of you to build this future, from educators who inspire the next generation of leaders, to entrepreneurs who dare to innovate, to students who embrace lifelong learning, and partners who believe in the power of collaboration. Thank you again for your participation, your partnership, and your commitment to building a stronger US-ASEAN digital economy through education. Together, we are shaping a future of endless possibilities. Terima kasih banyak. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dominic So, for the wonderful opening remarks. And ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome the moderator who will lead our discussion for today. She's the director of US ASEAN Center. Please welcome Ms. Anne Hoang.
Hi, everyone. Thank you very much to all of you for being here today. Thank you to Untirta, and thank you to Esaongo for travel link to meet with us and joining this event today. I also wanted to say a big thanks to U.S. Mission to ASEAN and also the colleagues at America who have been hard at work to put together such a nice event today. Yeah, if I'm allowed to get us started with the session today. If I may invite our panelists to come join us on the stage, and I'll begin the introductions of our panelists. Yes, please. While we're waiting for our panelists to get settled, so as you know, today's event's title is Building Tomorrow, U.S.-ASEAN Education Partnership, Shaping the Future. And we are living in a very dynamic and increasingly digitally changing world. And I think there could not be a more timely topic to discuss how we can, in that environment of growing economy and change in the digital world, how can we make sure that the future generations, our future leaders of ASEAN are being prepared for that change environment. And in that context, we have invited here experts and panelists from government, intergovernmental organization, academic institution, the private sector, and education leaders across ASEAN and the US who have been working closely together to make all those progress and changes happen and ensuring that our future generation are being prepared and getting ready for that future of the technology development. So if I may be able to invite, first start with our first panelist, Ms. Amalia Serrano, who is a Senior Officer for Education, Youth, and Sport Division at the ASEAN Secretariat. Ms. Serrano worked on regional cooperation initiative focusing on education, youth development, and human capital development across ASEAN member states, and she currently works at the ASEAN Secretariat Division of Human Development. We are also joined by Ms. Retno Putri. She's a public affairs manager at Dow Indonesia, and her works focus on partnership and sustainability initiatives in workforce development and industry engagement across Indonesia, Australia, and New Zealand. And next, we have Dr. Samantha Alvis, Executive Director of Thunderbird, 1 Million Learners Global Initiative. Dr. Alvis has 2 decades of experience in international education, workforce development, and including roles, leadership role at USAID and global higher education institutions. And certainly, last but not least, we have Ibu Religiana Hendarti, Head of International Partnerships and Programs at BINUS University of Indonesia. She leads international collaborations and partnership initiative and has extensive experience in sustainable architecture, interdisciplinary education, and global academic cooperations. So I think, with our panelists, have been introduced, I would like to begin kick off the discussion with all of our panelists by, first we'll have a moderated discussion with me asking the panelists some of the questions that showcase past U.S. ASEAN successful examples to advance workforce development and education, preparing the future generation for Industry 4.0 digital future. And then after that, we'll be able to have an engaging session with all the audience, allowing you all to ask your own question to the panelists about education opportunities, what would be the areas of focus if you want to be ready for the future and having the skills at your hand. If there are courses that we would be sharing with you and resources that you could be taking to prepare for that. And then, we'll also be taking any question from the online audience of today. So without further ado, please allow me to first start with Ms. Amalia Serrano, sharing with us experience and perspective from the ASEAN Secretariat. Ms. Serrano, what would you say is the biggest opportunity or maybe the biggest challenge in preparing young people for the digital economy?
Thank you for that question, Ms. Director Ann. So first of all, allow me to introduce myself. I'm Ami Serrano, and as what Director Ann has said, I work at the ASEAN Secretariat. And for information, ASEAN member states consist of 11 member countries in the region. So our role is facilitating, it's an intergovernmental organization, so facilitating coordination among these 11 ASEAN member states. So as you know, across ASEAN, digital transformation is no longer a future scenario, actually. It is already reshaping how we learn, how we work, how we innovate, and even how we connect. So, and at the same time, ASEAN is a young region. At least over 200 million young people are in this region, imagine. So this is a tremendous demographic strength, but only, of course, if we invest in education, in skills and lifelong learning. So for our young people, this means that education system can no longer be focusing on preparing graduates for today's job. It would mean for education system to actually prepare you not only for today's job, but for emerging jobs, for changing jobs, and even for those jobs that are not existing yet. So it's really quite a big challenge for the region, for us to be able to prepare you in this scenario. So this is where education really plays a central role, because education is not only about the transfer of knowledge, it is about preparing you as learners to actually think critically, adapt to change, and solve real-world problems. So, and to also work across different disciplines and across different cultures. And most of all, continue learning throughout life. So from ASEAN's perspective, I think this conversation such as this, where we have a platform where we can discuss together what we are doing for the region, is really very crucial and important. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Serrano, for sharing the perspective from ASEAN Secretariat on the challenges facing our young leaders today. I know that ASEAN Secretariat specifically have placed a strong emphasis on building future-ready skills. How does this connect to can you talk a little bit about how this connect to the broader ASEAN priorities in terms of the APASTI plan of action for science and technology from 2026 to 2035?
So this is just so the one that was mentioned by Director Ann is just one of the frameworks or how we prioritize like science, technology, and innovation. But there are other policies and frameworks within ASEAN region that looks at the whole education system, not just from the science, technology, and innovation point of view. So we also have the ASEAN Community Vision 2045, which calls for a resilient, innovative, dynamic, and people-centered ASEAN community. So how do we prepare our learners to ensure that they are actually, regardless of their background, also have access to relevant, quality, and future-oriented education and training opportunities? We also provide a platform where government agencies can talk and really discuss this issue of skills gap. For example, we have ASEAN Tibet Council, wherein the education, labor, and the industry would have to sit together every year to actually discuss what are the skills gaps in the region. We have different frameworks that guides the region and the ASEAN ASEAN member states, depending on their national context, for example, to actually address different skills gaps in the national level and at the regional level. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for sharing those insights into how ASEAN is thinking about this, not just in separate countries, but also more broadly, and have a coordinated approach across the region. If I may turn quickly to Retno to share a little bit, because we have heard from ASEAN, right? That's sort of the government perspective, and now to have a fresh perspective from the private sector, and especially with Dow being one of the leading U.S. companies who have been very involved in the ASEAN region and working with our partners across ASEAN. How quickly are workforce expectation changing from in the private sector for future like workers in the private sector, or future leaders of executives or business leaders who would be working for the company?
Thank you, Anne. So good afternoon, everyone. So my name is Shanda from Dow. So before I answer your questions, I think from private sector, we see workforce development and sustainability as something that is closely connected, because all the challenges that the world is facing can be answered by the future of the workforce. So that's why we invest in education partnership across Indonesia and also across ASEAN. So we work with the universities, the local universities, to strengthen the practical STEM learning, because Dow's core of technology or innovations is the innovation of chemistry. So what you see, the new innovations that we are, like, for example, the electric cars, or the new technology that is emerging, is actually coming from the new workforce. So that's why we want to strengthen our partnership is critical, because we want to help universities to move beyond just theoretical classroom educations to more applied industry relevant expertise. And what we want to give students an exposure to help us to solve world problems itself.
Thank you so much for sharing that perspective. And I think one specific example that we can give, right, is the most recent collaboration between Dow and Arizona State University was also part of that collaboration, working very closely with Untirta on the chemistry hands-on workshop for providing opportunities for our students. And then to the Untirta participants here today, they probably can still remember about the components of that program. I think it would be helpful for our online audience and the general audience in this room as well, if they can hear a little bit more specific from you about what were the program's component and how have they benefited the people who participated in it.
Yeah, a key example of our partnership is the green chemistry workshop. So we had the workshop in collaboration with Arizona State University and also Chemical Society of Thailand. So it's a hands-on chemistry workshop. So we have around 200 participants for the workshop, and with over 80% reporting that all the experiments that we did in the green chemistry is actually applied to what they learn. It's also a strong indication for us that the hands-on approach is actually very effective in building a confidence and practical skills of the students. So we had these collaborations not only with the USAID Higher Education Partnership and Arizona State University, but also Chemical Society of Thailand, which provided guidance not only for students in Indonesia, but also for students in Thailand, Philippines, and Vietnam. So we want to have collaborations within the industry, not only like bringing educations into practical knowledge.
Yes, great. Thank you, Retno, for sharing that insights. And I think it's exciting to hear that it's not only just a one iteration workshop that happens with one country or one school in particular, right? But it's a model that you're looking to replicate across ASEAN. And If I may turn next to Ibu Religiana Hendarti from BINUS to talk about, I think I wanted to go to you next because the collaboration between BINUS and the EPICS program also relate a lot to the program that we just talked about with Dow as well. They're all training programs and hands-on workshop that allow our students and our learners to be able to gain all this experiential skill that would be beneficial for them when they go directly into the workforce, and ensuring that they are very prepared to do those steps in the future. So I would like to hear your insights and your observations from the past program that we implemented together between BINUS and Arizona State University, and hear from directly from your students, right? Yeah, the insights from your student on how that program has helped them become more ready.
Okay, thank you so much. First, I would like to say thank you for inviting BINUS for this event. My name is Religiana Hendarti. I'm the head of Internationalization and Partnership Programs for Faculty of Engineering. So in BINUS, actually, there is one division in the level, in the university level, and me in the faculty level. And I'm also a lecturer in Department of Architecture. So here, I would like to share BINUS University and Arizona State collaboration experience in order to, not to explain, just to share that this collaboration or partnership is very important for students, especially in the university. And why I choose this one? Okay, this is one of the project, between BINUS students and students from Arizona, because my background, I got my PhD focused on solar energy, and fortunately I got the chance to become the lecturer, one of the lecturer that to assist this collaboration. As we know that digital future is driven by data, AI, and then cross-border collaboration. So like I mentioned earlier, that universities must develop like digital skills and capability. And that's also why education partnerships are essential, and the sustainability awareness and human-centered innovation is very important. Why? Because we cannot just focus on technology. EPICS is an engineering program in community service. This is a program that students deploy or make some innovation to solve the real problem in the society. Here is, for example, aquaculture. So there are some communities like fishermen. Nowadays, it's very hard to get electricity, and they need aerator to grow or to grow the fish faster to neutralize the water. And this aerator usually in the air. So we try to develop a prototype, based on the community's problems. Here, the experience with the real community, we have some discussion. We invite BINUS here as the community partners. We invite some fishermen, and they give some questionnaire to the fishermen, what they actually, the issue, and then how much that can they afford for this one, like if we use renewable energy, how much that they can afford it. This is some pictures here showing that in early January, they came to Indonesia, they came to BINUS and visit the site. And they also talks and discuss with the communities. And here is the students, we're glad that this project is quite, for me, it's quite successful because they really have very intense discussion until they want to came to Indonesia and try their prototype. The location is in Tangerang, near Pantai Indah Kapuk. And this is the integrated learning ecosystem. We use renewable energy, IoT, and smart monitoring because we are facing the digitalization. Of course, community engagement, and then international student collaboration, sustainability-oriented innovation. And the most important thing is to develop empathy. Empathy is very crucial to know what is actually the real problem. It's not just from website, but through questionnaire, through observation, and through our empathy, So we, because what we call a human-centered solution, that's we are trying to develop their not only the hard skill but also the soft skills, like how they can communicate with the communities, and our students can also learning how to communicate with international students, which has very different culture. And I'm glad that they can make it because, the very challenge is the time difference. It's very large. I mean, when in Indonesia at night, in US it's in the morning, so it's quite challenged. But actually, they really enjoy this collaboration. Should I finish or I think
yes, please.
This is some challenges. Maybe I just finished it. This is some challenges, But however, we also have some opportunities, like for digital, we're facing the future digitalization. However, we also can make solution from human side, and then also cross-border innovation. So I think, this is just some picture on that one. We also discuss with some industry. We invite industry, and so that they know making something not just, for example, focus on the technology, but also in practical. So we need to know who is the user. That's the goals or the objective of this meeting. And this one, our student actually got an award. From they can produce prototype, and they got award for the prototype by the Ministry of Industry.
Thank you so much, Ibu, for sharing this very comprehensive example from BINUS and the past collaboration on allowing the student the opportunity to pursue hands-on learning. And I think I wanted to point out a very important point in that it not just focus on this program does not just focus on the technical knowledge, but also building interdisciplinary skills for the student, which are very important. Like the soft skill are just as important as the technical knowledge when you come into the workforce, and being able to have that opportunity to pursue workshop that are hands-on like this, providing both types of skills, I think it was hugely beneficial. And I think that's a highlight of the US-ASEAN partnerships, that US institution working together with ASEAN institution. And I see that there is also involvement by the US private sector, like Rockwell Automation played a big part in this as well.
ISU also for USAID. It started from after we got the grant for the Maker Innovation Space. Then Jared, the one on the left side.
One of my colleagues.
Oh, your colleague, He's the one who offered us, would you like to become our community partners. Then it's already going on almost 3 years. There are 3 batches now. That's it.
Yeah. So yeah, I think this program we have been doing it with BINUS for 3 years, but we wanted to make sure that we share this kind of example today, right? So students and other university leaders from other institutions in Indonesia and across ASEAN can also look at this example and see how we can find ways to make more and expand this kind of opportunities to all students. Because I think this is something that is crucial in preparing you to be ready for the workforce in the future. So on that topic of, I think, the leadership skill, right, the kind of interdisciplinary learning that we would want to expand this kind of opportunity, because the whole point of the partnership and the achievements and the kind of experience, the world-class experience that it's providing to students, we would only want to expand that and multiply that and scale that to other people. And with that, I wanted to turn to Samantha next, who is our panelist from the Thunderbird School of Global Management. The Thunderbird School of Global Management is famous for its 1 million learners global program of reaching 100 million learners all over the world. And I think it would be really beneficial to hear directly from Dr. Samantha on the program that the Thunderbird School of Global Management is offering through 100 Million Learners Initiative, and how are you making that accessible to ASEAN learners?
Great. Well, thank you all so much for allowing me to share this opportunity with you. As An said, I'm Executive Director of 100 Million Learners. We like to say it's bold and audacious, just like ASU and Thunderbird is. And it really represents an aspirational goal. 100 million learners is 5% of the global youth population, and as our speaker from the ASEAN said, that's about half of that is here in the ASEAN, if not more. So we're an online learning platform that's focused on courses related to global entrepreneurship, innovation, business, and leadership development, skills that I think are really critical for the future of work, no matter what your field of experience is. Because that's just going to continue to become more and more important to have an entrepreneurial or business mindset. So we have 3 different pathways for learners, and with 12 courses across those pathways, a 10-hour boot camp, a 30-hour foundations course, and then in our intermediate and advanced pathways, we have 5 courses each that are aligned with undergraduate and graduate level curriculum. That can be pathways, particularly at our advanced pathway, to a master's degree in management and leadership. We really believe that talent is endless, but sometimes opportunity is not. And so that's why all of our courses are available at no cost to learners. Learners can earn a digital badge and a certificate of completion. You're earning that from Arizona State University, which is ranked #1 in the US for innovation, and Thunderbird, which is ranked #1 in the US for international trade, as well as ranked internationally in our case studies and executive education programs. So you're really getting a world-class quality education at no cost to learners. And across the ASEAN, I have to say about 10% of our current learners are from the nations made up of the ASEAN. And Indonesia, you're our highest. We have about 10,000 learners are from Indonesia. So we're very excited. That's largely been through our university partnerships, including with Asa Unggul. So congratulations to you all. You're actually our largest university partner here, but also BINUS International, President University, and UPH. So lots of opportunities there to explore that skills development.
Yeah, thank you, Samantha. And I don't know if you, maybe I missed this when it was mentioned, but if the audience in this room and online don't already know about the 100 Million Learners program, the program and all the courses are available in ASEAN languages. So in addition to English, which is, the international standard language for everyone to communicate with each other, it's also available in a Bahasa Indonesia. So if you would prefer to take the course in Bahasa, it's available.
Yeah, so we're actually available in 8 languages across the ASEAN, 40 altogether. So Bahasa, Javanese, Malay, Burmese, Tagalog, Chinese, Vietnamese, and Thai. So that's available at our foundational level, and our courses in intermediate and advanced are available in English.
Yeah, and I also wanted to follow up on that because I think it's very impressive that one of the learning programs developed by Thunderbird School and at ASU, but also we're making our efforts to make it available to all learners all worldwide. And why is there a focus so strongly, especially in the ASEAN region?
Yeah, in part because we're generously funded by a Thunderbird alum who he himself is an immigrant to the United States, and he truly believes in the transformational power of education, and he wanted to make the kind of world-class quality education he had access to available to all learners, no matter where they're from. That access to education shouldn't be a barrier just because of a location where you're at. So that's really why we focused on making this a platform that's available at no cost to learners as well as no cost to our partners so that we can provide that access.
Yeah, wonderful. And on that point, if I may add just one additional question. So I think, now that we've talked about the program already and the alum who helped develop and funded this program, it's also would be amiss to not talk about the Thunderbird School of Global Management Center of Excellence that's based here in Jakarta, and it has been generating and maintaining a network, a very strong network of alums, not just globally, but also in Southeast Asia, very strongly. And there is, as I heard, there's been frequent opportunities for engagement and continue of staying in touch between that group, but also providing opportunities for future generation leaders. So could you tell us a little bit more about that, what the Center of Excellence is doing, and what kind of opportunities are available to the young people in the room today and also online?
Sure, absolutely. So our Jakarta Center, and I'm joined here amongst the audience with colleagues from our Jakarta Center. It's our first center in the ASEAN, and it's here really to serve our alumni and prospective students of the Thunderbird School of Global Management here in Indonesia and beyond. So it's really focused on fostering collaboration across the ASEAN, focused on providing connections for alumni. We've got over 300 alumni from Indonesia alone from Thunderbird, where we offer undergraduate degrees, master's degrees, and we actually just graduated our first class of PhDs last week and Doctors of Professional Practice, which was very exciting. So our center here is really here to make connections. If you're interested in studying at ASU or Thunderbird specifically and would like to talk to an alumni who's maybe had that experience, our Jakarta Center can help to make those connections for you. If you're a business owner that's interested in maybe connecting with alumni as well from Thunderbird, those can be connections that the center here can help make as well. There's a saying at Thunderbird about the Thunderbird mystique. It's a strong network. And that once you're a Thunderbird, you're always a Thunderbird. I heard I was in the Philippines, another ASEAN nation right before here, and alumni there told me if you end up anywhere in the world where there's a Thunderbird and you're a Thunderbird, you always have a couch to sleep on. So that's a really welcoming family and a comfortable place. I'll share that on campus in Arizona. We have learners and students from a number of nations at graduation last week. There were over 40 countries represented, including the one ASEAN nation represented last week was Thailand. So it's a very diverse and international place where students really, I think, feel at home no matter where they're from.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. I think these are all like really great examples of how we can not only be creating a generation of very successful alums, but keeping them engaged and also providing future opportunities for other young leaders to benefit from the same kind of program that they did. And if you haven't already seen out there at the table, we have a lot of materials, promotional materials on how you can be engaging with the Thunderbird School of Global Management and be benefiting from the completely free 100 million learners global initiative. So I would encourage you to take a leaflet and take a look at that and sign up for the courses in the area of your interest. And then I think now with around 30 minutes to the closing of the program, I have a long list of questions, as you may see here, but I do want to turn to the audience to give them a chance to ask questions too. But if I may bring it back to just ask one last question from the moderated section with Ms. Amalia and Serrano to bring it back to ASEAN Secretariat to help us round up out this round of the discussion. So as we know, all of this discussion has been focusing on, the U.S.-ASEAN partnership and the partnership between university, between industry, and education leaders at academic institutions to bring this together in a coordinated approach to prepare our future generation for the workforce. But across ASEAN, we obviously know that countries are moving at very different speed digitally in this integrated and digital economy. So how would you, if there's any advice that you can give, how can the regional collaboration be, improve and help better close skill gaps and create more equal opportunities across the region?
Thank you for that question. So I believe the most, if you ask me, I think the more impactful cross-border partnership, for example, are those that go beyond one-off activities. We encourage that we create a practical, sustained learning opportunities for students, educators, and institutions. So the university-to-university partnership is really something that we look at as a good model in supporting, for example, curriculum development, student mobility, joint learning, and collaborative research. Because in ASEAN, we also have this network of universities. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, but it's called ASEAN University Network. It consists of, universities from from the 11 member countries, and they work together to address specific issues. They have thematic networks as well. So this kind of collaboration is really very important. Another is that university-industry collaboration is also particularly important because when companies work with university, for example, to co-design programs, provide internship, support applied learning, or bring real industry challenges into the classroom, students gain a much and clearer understanding of the skills needed in the workplace. Third, we see value in partnership that promote experiential and project-based learning, as what we have been discussed by our panel speakers as well. So it's really, really important that when we talk about collaboration, it must be experiential and project-based. And then fourth, partnership that support lifelong learning and upskilling. So really, we really need to continue to learn, to relearn, to upskill and reskill ourselves. So learning doesn't stop from when you graduate, right? It continues until we are, alive, I suppose. So yeah, that's it from me.
Thank you for those words of wisdom. I think it's applies to all of us, right? Learning is a continuous process, and it doesn't stop the moment that we graduate from college or university, but we continue to do it throughout the parts of our career. So now I'd like to turn it to the audience, and maybe I'll also look online to see if any of our audience from the live stream is asking question. Happy to take a question from the audience here in the room. Let's see. Yeah, the mic. Can you help pass, please?
Okay, before that, thank you so much for the experience. Let me introduce myself. My name is Julvia. I'm from Untirta. My question is, how can this partnership ensure education remains relevant and sustainable for Asian young leaders? Because we young leader in digital transformation and Asian youth, it needs education, and that not just for today, but for lifelong learning. So my question is, how can this partnership ensure education remains relevant and sustainable for Asian young leaders? Get it?
Did all of our speakers hear the question clearly from the audience? Anyone would like to take that question? Any of our panelists?
I can start.
Yeah.
I think at least through what we're doing with 100 million learners, we're making it accessible by it being no cost to learners to gain those skills. I vaguely referenced it, but I think the future of work is, as we move to jobs of the future, it's probably less and less likely that folks will be working a 40-hour-a-week, 9-to-5 job, but instead it might be having your own entrepreneurial enterprise, or maybe a few different enterprises, maybe having a job and a formal business, but working on informal businesses along with it. or maybe working for a startup or a small or medium enterprise that really needs their employees to have an entrepreneurial mindset. So I think some of the topics that we're addressing through 100 Million Learners around global entrepreneurship and business and leadership skills will help to prepare learners for skills of the future. And our courses don't stay static. So I mentioned a 30-hour foundations course that we have right now. We're revamping that course later this year, and in 2027 it'll launch in a new format. Later this summer, we're launching our first micro course that's focused on AI and entrepreneurship. AI is going to have an impact on the workforce, so we want to make sure that there is an awareness, a representation of the ethical concerns, how to use it responsibly. So at least from our perspective, that's how I think we're helping to address, both sustainable access to education, but also making sure that learners have the skills they need to be successful in the workforce.
Okay. Thank you, Samantha. And
I can also provide
Serrano,
some
yes.
questions, clarifications,
Yes.
answer to that question. So when we speak about future-ready and digitally skilled workforce, we are not only referring, of course, on young people who can use digital tools or work in technology-related jobs. So when we speak of digital economy, it cuts across different sectors, so education, business, agriculture, health. So first, young people, I think the basic the basic skills that they need is a strong foundational skills, this literacy, numeracy, communication, and problem-solving skills. These remain very important because digital skills can only be built on a strong foundation. Second, you would need definitely digital skills and data literacy. So this means it includes the ability to actually use these digital tools confidently. And you have to understand data, you have to work safely and be responsible online. So these are two skills that you really need as young people, digital skills and data literacy. Third, you would need higher order and transferable skills. So what are these? Your critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, adaptability, and most important in this world is resilience as well. These are the skills that allow you actually to move across jobs, across sectors, even careers later on. So in many cases, we are preparing learners not only for the existing job, as I've said a while ago, but also for the jobs that are still emerging and even changing, and even those jobs that don't yet exist. So fourth, we also need to strengthen our entrepreneurial. It was also highlighted, these days you cannot be always like a office worker. You can be an entrepreneur as well, and you have to have that innovation mindsets as well. So those are just the skills that you need to imbibe in yourself, and those teachers that need to develop in you, and those schools that you're going to study. Thank you.
Yeah, if I may add, one of the goals for the partnership between the universities and also corporations is to bridge the gap between once the university graduates to be ready to work. Because, sometimes all that you learn at the universities when you are actually put into work, you still need mentorship, guidance, internship. That's why for corporations, we normally open internship opportunities and also mentorship opportunities. And I think the other panelists said that it's a lifelong learning. So even though when you are already in the workplace conditions, we also need to keep developing ourselves. So every development platform is also available online, and you have your colleagues and collaborations. That is critical thinking is very important for your career development.
Yeah, can I add?
Yeah,
Okay.
and Ibu?
Okay. The first thing is, please don't be afraid with challenges. That's the first thing, because usually if there is any challenge, it should be any other option. And from my experience, collaboration is one of the way to solve any problems or challenge. Yeah, and because with collaboration, we have friends to discuss, we have partners to discuss and make some innovation. And that's, I think, you have to build that in you, yeah. Like our speakers mentioned, also the willingness of learning, that's very important, and don't be easily give up on something. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you all to our panelists for your excellent insights. We have about 4 questions from Instagram live stream, but I wanted to see if there are any questions, additional questions in the room before we go to the question online. Yes, can you help pass the mic? Yeah, to our student there and then our student here.
Okay, thank you. Let me introduce myself. My name is Aldi. I'm majoring physical education on University of Sultan Ageng Tirta. I just wanna ask, as a student myself, especially a student that majoring in mostly of then major is mostly about learning about education itself. I just want to ask, in this, sometimes I feel like in this, sometimes I feel like that our technology is growing a lot faster than our education system itself. Like I just want to, so I just want to ask to all the speakers itself, yeah, based on your experience, what is the most important thing that students need to develop so we can stay relevant in this digital era? That's it.
Yeah. Retno, would you like to take
sure.
that question?
I can take the first one. So I know that technology grow like a lot faster than sometimes our capabilities itself. So sometimes we think that, oh, I already learned this, but there's new like invention coming out. But never give up on learning. So and never afraid to make mistakes, because like like when you learn something, when you're working, it's impossible to never make mistakes. I mean, like if there's new technology that is coming out, you can also learn from your colleagues. So do not afraid to ask questions. Like you can learn from the colleagues from other countries as well. So collaborations and keeping connected with your colleagues, not only in Indonesia, but I think with the digitalization itself, you can actually easily access access like a journal or new technologies or on any other platform online. So never stop learning and never afraid to make mistakes.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. So I'm a teacher by training. I went to school to be a high school teacher. So congratulations on studying education. I know things change faster than teachers can keep up with it. So my simple piece of advice is to stay curious. You have to keep pushing yourself to find what is the right fit for new technologies for you or what you're trying to impart onto your students. It's easy to get overwhelmed, but you have to have curiosity and find those new paths. Even just in my time here at ASU, I've had to learn so many new things, platforms that I had never used before in my career. So just staying open to that possibility of learning new things and having curiosity to move forward, and then impart that curiosity to the students that you're teaching.
Yeah, and if I may just add, I know that I'm not one of our panelists, but I have some thoughts on that I can share too. I think it's, while technology and other digital tools are growing, and it's maybe hard to keep up with that, just remember that they are tools at your hand too, so you can use them to scale and maximize your learning as well. So there are tools that exist to help you with your learning process to keep up. So I think it's important to remember that those tools are not working against you, but at your disposal, so that you can leverage them and use them to accelerate your learning as well. I think that's important to remember. And then the second thing I would say is that I think it's just outside of being a student and feeling overwhelmed with this process, you're not alone, right? You are going to be supported by universities, the educator, the faculty leaders who are working alongside you, and also the private sector is here to provide this kind of opportunities that we see in the discussion today to help you get ready. So just remember that you're not going to be alone in this journey of learning. So, but we are all here, and the system is here to support you. And I think it also resonates very much with the efforts that ASEAN and the Secretariat is trying to, expand and make sure that these kind of opportunities are provided across the region. Yeah. So, I think we have another question from a student here. So, if we can get the mic, and then after that, I'll turn to the question online, please.
Introduction myself. My name is Abdul Aziz, Physics Education on Tirta. As young people, my innovation. As young people with ideas to improve education aligned with the SDGs, how can we collaborate with America? We also to be prepared beforehand and where the opportunities or benefits can we gain from the collaboration. Selain it also, well, there are the opportunities for students to collaborate or support the project is a professor. The program like this. Thank you.
Thank you. Any of our panelists would like to take the question?
Can you speak in Bahasa?
Yeah, I think it would be good to hear the question again.
Improve education for the SDGs. Ketika kita pakai bahasa Indonesia aja. Ketika kita punya inovasi, ketika sebagai mahasiswa Indonesia nih, ketika kita mempunyai inovasi nih sebagai mahasiswa, gimana sih kita tuh untuk kolaborasi dengan Amerika ini gitu, gimana caranya dan apa aja sih yang bakal kita dapetin ketika kita berkolaborasi dengan Amerika ini, karena kan ini program yang bagus ya untuk inovasi pendidikan juga. Maksudnya kami sebagai mahasiswa ini tertarik ketika kita punya ide, ada sebuah fasilitator yang memang akan mengembangkan ide-ide kami, dan juga apakah kita tuh bisa berkesempatan dengan profesor-profesor hebat yang ada di depan ketika kita berkesempatan untuk bekerja sama nantinya dengan proyek-proyek yang mungkin akan kita jalankan nantinya. Cukup, terima kasih.
Thank you, terima kasih. Ya, Ibu.
You asked about what can America help them if they have some innovation, and can they get like some guidance or help from America.
From the U.S. or from America?
From U.S.
From the
with
U.S.
collaboration.
Yeah. So I think I would defer to our panelists, but I would say that there are many opportunities available from U.S. universities and both in the academic sector, U.S. universities, and also with the private sector from the U.S. We are providing a lot of learning opportunities through the previous two examples that you see. There is a maker innovation space at university that was previously established by the Happy Project that is available for use if any student would like to come in and use that space for hands-on learning and experiment. That's also available very much as a learning resource. And the 100 Million Learners program is also a great learning resource that's US created and available free of charge. So again, I would encourage to take a look at the flyer at the front and go through that and see if there's a program that fits your interests. I don't know if any of our speaker have any additional resources that you would like to add to that. I mean, I'm only speaking from the perspective of ASU and Thunderbird Global School of Management. On ASU website, we also offer a lot of free learning resources for you to go into and look at that. And we'd be very happy to share in a post follow-up email in the event to all the participants, learning resources that would be available to all of you. But I would like to invite our panelists to add to that comment.
Okay, maybe I can add. You can come to BINUS. We can collaborate. It's very welcome for any universities. Yeah, because we got the Maker Innovation Space, and every semester from ASU they ask for some interesting projects. So maybe we can do a joint proposal, and then we can send to the ASU, and hopefully, usually, each proposal is given to the students, and they will choose which project they would like to do. So if you want, you can come to BINUS, or you can we can talk, yeah, because I'm the coordinator for EPICS program. Yeah.
And if I may add, DAO and ASU, we have also a collaboration that called Heroes of Innovations. So it's actually a competitions that we invite all the students from universities to submit their proposals and ideas, but only in the three topics, the three arcing topics, which is sustainability, waste management innovations, and also entrepreneurship. So last year we did the competition. We have around 52 proposals from I think around 14 universities across Indonesia, and the winning proposal is actually find a new ways for a waste to be develop into new materials. So if you have innovations, you can look through, you can look through online if there's any competitions or proposals that can be submitted to like private sectors, because not only DAO, I believe some of our peers companies also have this type of collaboration as well.
Yes. And sorry to put you on the spot, but we have a colleague from the U.S. mission to ASEAN today who oversees the public diplomacy section. And I think she would also have some comments to add about the U.S. government-sponsored opportunities for education that is available to Indonesian and ASEAN students as well. So, Fidia, if I may ask you to chime in on this, if you can talk about YSEALI and IVLP and Fulbright programs that are available as resources for students that are provided by the U.S. government, that would be much appreciated.
Okay, thank you, Anne. Fidia here from the U.S. Mission to ASEAN. So I would add a bit. U.S. Mission to ASEAN here. So there's U.S. Mission to Indonesia. Well, we are the U.S. Mission to ASEAN. So some of our, I'm the exchange specialist, and some of our program includes Fulbright. This is the non-degree program. So those with your bachelor degree, master's degree, or PhD, you can sign up for this and join 4 to 5 months exchange in the US. And also for the YSEALI is one of our flagship program. It's more on for the youth. You can check it on our website, US Mission to ASEAN. There's so many programs that might interest you, and you can chatter up to depending on your interests and your liking. And if any questions, I'm happy to take it on after the panel. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, I think, there are a range of a wide variety of opportunities available from U.S. institutions, U.S. private sector to help with hands-on learning, and there are also opportunities fully funded provided by the U.S. government. So I would encourage you all to look into that, and feel free to contact any of us here if you need additional help to navigate those that information and those resources. I think I have delayed long enough for the question from the audience online. So now I'd like to turn to that, and we can come back to the room if there are more questions from the room, right? So I think one of the questions from Jilang on Instagram is, what industry in Southeast Asia digital economy are expected to grow the fastest? And what kind of careers will emerge from that growth? So if I may invite a perspective from the ASEAN Secretariat, because they have the bird's eye view of all trends across ASEAN, right? Maybe just one or two of the sector that you have seen growing the fastest, and what kind of career advice or career track that the student should be looking at given those trends.
Sorry, I don't have the statistics right now.
Okay,
I don't have the information, but definitely, as what we have been discussing already, as what has mentioned, different ICT skills and ICT related, what do you call it, career pathway are, increasingly being looked at as something that we will have to deal with in the next few years, or and so therefore, as what I have said a while ago, institutions must be ready actually to accommodate this need. The science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, courses are still something that we really need to, look at, because at the moment in the region, for example, female. This is still a male-dominated, career. So I think these are the things that we should be looking at as well. The STEM courses are still, very important for this region. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And Samantha?
Yeah, I can share from Thunderbird's perspective as a school of global management that has a focus on international trade. We're focusing on energy, so we're standing up with our School of Global Futures at ASU, a center that's focused on energy, and it's a focus here. For our work across the ASEAN, as well as connections into the maritime industry. We're still going to use shipping and whatnot for that trade to continue, and then digital innovation. And I think the part of the question around like what careers to prepare for is maybe the harder part of that question to answer, because of the changing future of work. So I think just being prepared to be a lifelong learner, having skills that are transferable. The panels talked today about the importance of soft skills along with the technical skills, and being able to adapt, within an industry. Specialization, I think, is very important. So for our graduates from Thunderbird, it's things around communications and teamwork, ability to work cross-culturally, in addition to what they're learning, like specific to global management or business or trade.
Yeah, thank you, Samantha. I think that's really useful. And it's hard for us to foresee all this global future careers, right? Because AI is emerging and it's seeping into each one of the sectors. So, but I'm hopeful that we will also be able to keep up with that, and with the coordinated efforts across industry, academia, and government and intergovernmental organizations, we'll be able to at least have some of that information to prepare our students of what to expect for the future. The next question is from Gita. How can universities and institutions better support students from underserved communities to ensure that they also have access opportunities in the digital economy? So if I may invite Ibu
Religiana.
From BINUS to answer this question, to share the perspective from universities, to see how institutions, and based on your experience so far, how can we help better help underserved communities and students?
Okay, so BINUS, it's very well known that we have 3+1 program. So 1 year, 3 years, and 1 year for enrichment program. We call it enrichment because in 1 year they should learn outside the campus. Yeah, for example, we have some tracks for this enrichment program. It can be internships or study abroad, or they can do some research or research track, do some research with their lecturer, but usually their lecturer has partners. And in research, usually the students get involved for researching, and then if they have some partners. So for example, I have a colleague, she has many partners from abroad, and she also invite that students, then the students doing some research here in BINUS. And also we provide, we call it micro-credential. It's module, so it's a module that made by BINUS and industry. It's a specific module. It's offered to students who would like learn a specific specific based on the industry. And then there is another one, we call it further study. So we have some collaboration for master track with international universities. And in that semester, in the last semester, then they can continue to take master degrees. Yes, that's BINUS trying to provide several ways to support students. Yeah, to have like wider perspective, to have an experience. For internship, I think several departments required students to do internship at least one semester. And then after that, they can choose another tracks for the enrichment program. Yeah, I think that's.
Thank you very much. Yes.
Could I say just something about Arizona State University to that question? Is it's really baked into our charter at ASU. Our charter is that we judge ourselves not by who we exclude, but who we include. So, looking at how universities of the future might think about students, it's not about exclusion, but how can we find ways to support learners from underserved communities or first generation students to be successful. So we have a lot of different entry paths to ASU. So there's earned admissions where you can take college courses through our universal learning courses and earn admission through that pathway. There's programs like the one that I run, 100 Million Learners. So I think there's really purposeful ways that universities can look at supporting those who might not otherwise have a chance to come to higher education, but do it through untraditional channels.
Yeah, thank you. I think that's very true. We try to, at ASU, we try to make opportunities accessible to everyone. As long as they are, qualified, we make sure that they have access to all the resources that they need to succeed in school, but also in their future career. And I think this is the last question. How can student balance technical expertise with soft skill like communication, adaptability, and leadership in future-ready careers? If we may hear from Retno from the private sector perspective, and if you can share from your experience how the technical skills are then balanced out with a soft skill.
Yeah, thank you for the question. So I think the mentorship and internship is a bridge between, like the students when they want to be ready to be enter into the workforce. So in mentorship, you can learn from your senior, from leadership, on how to actually manage, like how to do a collaborations. I think we heard from Professor Samantha how to do collaboration cross-border, because we are not working only with our peers, but we are also working with our supervisor, someone that has more experience than us, and that skills can be learned through experience. So you can learn from the mentorship opportunities and also internship opportunities. So during internship, I think around 3 to 6 months, depends on the universities. So you can learn like how we actually work in the company. So you can learn your communication skill, because usually at the end of internship you must present your internship report. So that is also one of the ways where you can actually practice your communication skill and also collaboration skills.
Thank you so much. Any additional thoughts from other panelists? Or
in my experience, collaboration is very useful for our students. Yeah, they can learning to different culture. Yeah, and then their speak communication. Yeah, they can also practice. Yeah, their English. Collaboration is very useful with other universities, and also we provide that enrichment program. Yeah, so it's to balance like between hard skill and soft skill, because it's very different sometimes in campus and in industry.
That's true. Yeah.
What I have learned, our students become quite mature after their internship. Yeah, they more mature. Yeah. So because usually in class we just, hey, you cannot do this, you cannot do that. Sometimes like they don't believe us, but after they in the internship, they know the real work.
Yeah, I think the real working environment, and that's why hands-on and experiential learning is so important, because they pick up the soft skill from the problem and the challenges that they run into every day at work, and then they have to figure out how to solve that by themselves. So again, I think that underscore against the importance of having these kind of cross sector approach and coordinated approach between the university, industry, and government to provide the student with that kind of learning opportunity, not only enriching their technical skills, but also the soft skill to ensure that they are truly ready for the future. Any additional question from our audience in the room? Oh, I see from Esa Unggul. Can we pass the mic to the student, please?
Okay, the first, thank you for the opportunity. The first, my name is Adriano. I come from Essonwood University. My question is about the 100 million learners initiative also to reduce global inequalities, especially in developing regions in like ASEAN. So my question is, how does the 100 million learners initiative contribute to reduction global inequalities in access to higher education, particularly in developing regions such in ASEAN? So thank you.
Great. Well, thank you so much for the question. How we're trying to help ensure that 100 million learners helps to reduce those inequalities is the fact that all of our courses are available at no cost to learners. So reducing that barrier of entry to education, the financial barrier, is how we're hoping to address. So most of our learners are from the global south. If I had it on the screen, nearly every country in the world has learners, including every country in the ASEAN. So from the one learner that we have in Brunei to the nearly 10,000 learners that we have here in Indonesia that are all able to access at no cost. And then the path, if you want to go on to a degree opportunity at low cost to earn college credits at ASU and Thunderbird. So it's not enough to address all of the global inequalities, but it's our little part to try to make sure that there's access to the type of education that we provide at Thunderbird.
That's great. Thank you, Samantha. Any other questions from the audience before we wrap up for today's discussion? Yes, please.
Okay, let me introduce myself. I'm Grace from Esa Unggul. Earlier, Ms. Amalia mentioned that young people in today's digital era should have more than one skill and be able to influence or shape their own mindset in order to keep growing and avoid staying in their comfort zone. According to her, mindset has a big impact on how people learn, work, and adapt to technological change in the future. My question is, what is the best way to change the mindset of young people who lack motivation to develop new skills in today's digital world? Thank you.
Thank you for that question. So as I have explained earlier, for young people now, I think you need a set of different skills for you to survive this working environment or this, this world, because world is getting complicated as well. So how do we motivate you? So I guess there are many areas that we can look at. One is how the education system is actually prepared to, to welcome you in the school. Teachers, the learning environment, the support that you get from your family. So these are all interconnected, you know. And of course, most importantly, your adaptability as well, and your, you know, your willingness to learn, and your willingness to adapt, and your willingness to, you know, as I've said, relearn and upskill. So it's an interconnection of different areas who can help you as a student, as a young people. So from the education system, from your teachers, from your learning environment, from your family. So those are the things that we need to look at. So it's not an isolated you know, issue that you can just you know, address on your own. So we have to work together, the government, the industry, the schools, the family. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah.
May I?
Religiana?
I think I always told to students, if you can be motivated by knowing your goals. What is actually your goals? So I always say, if you want to get an A, then you must do your assignment properly. Yeah. So I always ask, what's your goals? And yeah, sometimes there is always the issues, challenges. Yeah. Yeah. I think it should be from your side. Yeah. Do you want to reach your goals, or you want to give up? That's the choice. And of course, you have to have someone you can discuss. Yeah. Besides, of course, yeah, you become always want to learn something. That's also important. But I always say to my student, you are now your competitor is not only human. You're not robot is your competitor. So you have to develop your yourself, creativity, curiosity, yeah, something like that. Yeah, thank you.
Yes, thank you so much for your sharing your insights and thoughts with the student and advice. And I think, you know, we have received a lot of useful advice from the panelists today, and their insights directly from their work and their experience, having working in the education sector, having worked at international organization across the region, and having you know, experienced that from the private sector itself, right? Like becoming the employer, seeing it from the perspective the employer on what are needed for the future employees to be ready in the workforce. All of these lessons, I think, will be very important for us to keep in mind. On not just the technical knowledge is important, but also the soft skill, and ensuring that you always updating your skills and learning across, not just, you know, when you're in universities, but when you are doing an internship and apprenticeship at companies. Those are the opportunities for you to learn as well. Looking at the resources that have been shared by our panelists today, many resources at universities, in the curriculum every day that are available, but also at the some of the space like maker innovation space, right, inside the university, that would allow you to do hands-on learning projects, or, you know, online learning resources like the 100 million learners program that is free of charge and should be available to all students across ASEAN, whether you are, you know, no matter what is your nationality, or no matter where you are in your sort of study or career track, you should be able to access that equally. So I think these are all very encouraging you know, existing initiative that you can utilize and make use of. And I think, you know, also, again, the program that are available from the US government that my colleague mentioned earlier, please feel free to look into those resources. And again, I think just one last thing, if I may say, to underscore what the panelists have been saying today, is that don't be afraid to ask questions. The digital economy, with the growing speed right now with AI taking over a lot of spaces, can be intimidating. But I think don't be afraid to ask questions, and don't be afraid to leverage these tools to your advantage. Would position you very well for the future, and to be ready to enter the workforce with,
a lot of great skills and assets to be deployed. So again, please join me in thanking our panelists and experts for taking their time and expertise to share their insights with us today. Yeah, we are very grateful for them and also for you and for your presence in the room today asking really brilliant questions. I have no doubt that the future generation of ASEAN is bright and I think we are ready for a future where you are leading the charge.
Once again, thank you very much to our moderator and speaker for today's insightful discussion. Boleh tepuk tangan yang paling meriah? Yes, and everyone, earlier in this event, we asked a question of the day to our online audience. And the question was, is it true or false that the U.S. ASEAN Center is located in Arizona? And the correct answer to that is false, because the U.S. ASEAN Center is located in Washington, D.C. Congratulations to @Ika Suciwati from Instagram for getting the answer correctly. And please do follow us on Instagram, Facebook, X, and YouTube @AT America. And ladies and gentlemen, that marks the end of our event for today. My name is Aldi, and see you at the next @America event.